singing praises to the Lord and preaching the gospel to the ambassador. God has chosen the despised things to nullify the things that are. And God has chosen the things that are not to nullify the things that are. We have, I don't want to go through the whole story of how God has worked in our lives in Hong Kong, but it's always been, both on one hand a surprise to me, and on the other hand not a surprise at all, because I always have expected Him to be miraculous. I've always expected Him to be wonderful, but I am also constantly surprised. But what happened was that after quite a long time, well, I think for me it was probably about 4 years, people used to say to me, "Why are you still here? Why are you still here?" Because nobody got saved, nobody was changed. I was spending my life with this group of triad members, that was a kind of mafia, secret society, in a place called the Walled City, which was just a big, awful ghetto. It was without proper electricity or water. There's about 60,000 people living in about 5 acres. And it was very hard for you to imagine that here, because we've got fields and sheep all over the place. In Hong Kong, the children have to play on concrete roofs. There isn't grass to play on. I think there's a couple of grass football pitches only, but they're reserved for other people. And so the children have to play on concrete roofs. Anyway, one day a young man came to me and he saw that I was crying. I mentioned tears and I was crying. I had a meeting, and yet one more time, no one had come to it. I was always having meetings by myself. Anyway, I was thinking to myself, well, I don't have to stay here. I can go somewhere else, but walk the Lord. And he saw me crying, and he said, "Hey, Vital, why don't you leave? He's a smart guy, because I'm obstinate too. And, if somebody says, why don't you leave? And he said, oh, look, you've been here 4 years, and you've given us rice, and we don't say thank you, and you find us places to live, and we mop them up, and you register us at schools, and we don't go, and you introduce us to jobs, and we lose them. We cheat you of money." It's true. Listen, if you're going to be involved with ministry to the poor, you're going to be cheated. You may as well know. They're awfully disappointed with people that say, "I want lunch, and now I got cheated." Let's stop ministry. Extraordinary. I mean, would you stop praying for sick people because the first time you pray for them get healed? Stupid. You may as well know you're going to get cheated. Stop it. Or are you being cheated? You think Jesus didn't know from the beginning who was going to betray him? And yet, he extended the same opportunity of salvation to that one. No. You will get cheated. You will get cheated. It's all right. All right. So he said, "We cheat you of money. We use you. We walk all over you." And he said, "Why don't you go and find a nice bunch of students? Because they make nice Christians." And it was true. I could see they did. I could see how you make the nice Christians too. It's quite easy to buy packets for students. Conversion packages with the little verses, you get next week's follow-up material, and the next week's follow-up material, and so on. I'm not saying that these aren't helpful, but they're only helpful because you
actually don't work on other people. Especially people who can't read. And I have to tell you people, that if you're even half interested in reaching the world, a rather large proportion of the world cannot read. So you'll have to find other ways than literature or even sharing the Bible with them. Oh, I know that sounds heretical. You're going to have to translate the word a different way. If they can't read the page, you're going to have to learn it so that it stays with them and they remember how they were touched by the living word of Jesus. So he said, find a nice bunch of students because they'll make nice Christians. And I said, no, I've come here because Jesus has sent me. And anyway, I'm going to stay because he loved me like that. And I told him what I just told you. He didn't wait until I said sorry before he died. He loved me anyway. And he loves you and all the things you've ever done. And he said, Moria, no way. Nobody would love us like that because we cheat and we steal. They actually used to have parties which they invited girls to, young girls of 13 or 14. Some of the parties were also in connection with the police. And then they would seduce the girls and sell them, because then they were theirs, into prostitution and live off them. And they didn't think this was very bad. They just thought it was their right. It's quite a good way for a young man to make money. He said nobody would love us like that. Nobody would die for us. And I said, I know it's very unfair. But that's how Jesus loved me. And that's why I'm here, and he loves you like that. And it's just as if, all the wrong things you've ever done. It's just like dirty clothes. He's never done anything wrong, he was God. He really was God, and he never did anything wrong at all. Just heal people and make them whole and full and bless them. But they put him on the cross. And it's as if he gave you his clean clothes and put your dirty clothes upon him. And this young man was shattered, and he sat there in the streets, and he began to pray, and he began to weep, and he said, Jesus, I don't understand why you would do such a thing for me. And that's how he came to know Jesus. And from that time onwards, we learned that if we prayed with the people who received Jesus at that time, not later, to receive the power of the Holy Spirit, after all, it's God who's giving away the power, not us, so we may as well make it available to people as soon as possible. And if he doesn't want them to have it, he won't. In fact, he does every time. And so he was baptized in the Spirit, and that began one to one to one to one to one to one to one. One brother told another brother, who told another brother, who told another brother, and so this was out of my control now. One telling another about Jesus, and they're running to find him. And that's how we began our homes. We found out by accident that people could come off drugs painlessly. And the way it happened was that we got this young man that I had been following around